Okay, so again, hello everyone. Welcome to Crochet Live with me. If you're new here, I am Love Simone. And if you're new here, crochet is my joy. If you're not new, you already know that crochet is my joy. And so tonight, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the very beginning and just have some conversations about crochet basics. And I'm glad you're here to join me. So this live is for complete beginners, people who have tried and maybe feel frustrated because they, or anyone who wants to fix their foundation and just go back to the basics. Also, if you just love crochet and just want to learn more about crochet before you pick up a hook and a needle, you can watch and see what this entails. If you are a beginner, I would love for you to drop a yarn emoji in the comments so we can keep an eye on each other and become good friends. So, I hope that you are well. Okay. Well, okay. Well, here we go. So, tonight we are covering how to hold your hook. We're going to talk about how to make a slip knot. And then we'll also discuss how to chain, how to do a single crochet, and how to do a double crochet. And if this all sounds foreign, it's okay. I'll explain what each stitch is as we go along and what they do and the purpose of each stitch. So let's start with our tools. What you'll need is a crochet hook. You need yarn. Well, let's start there. You need yarn because your hook needs to match your yarn. And on your yarn, it often comes with a recommendation. I'm just grabbing some yarn off my desk. It often comes with a recommendation of your hook size. So in this example, you'll see, sorry, let me look at it first. They recommend a 4mm hook with this yarn. Now, that's not to say you have to use that yarn. That's their recommendation, but you'll learn over time what is comfortable for you. So I'll give you an example. This pattern I am working on, I am using a 3.5mm. It's 100% Egyptian cotton. So it's a number 10 thread. So it usually wants like a one small hook. It likes small hooks. But honestly, you could use whatever hook. It just depends on what you're going for. Because I wanted a more firmer, I double strand. So I'm actually using 2 strands and I'm using this to crochet. Okay. So just showing you that it's possible many different ways. Okay. All right. Let's get back to basics. Again, so your yarn, medium weight is easiest for a beginner. And what does that mean? Look for a yarn that's like says number 4. Walmart has a mainstay brand. It's cheap. You can use that to practice. You can buy a hook. I would recommend a 5mm if you get a waisted yarn. That was my starting yarn and hook, and it's actually one of my favorite. And recently on my TikTok, I did a poll, and number 5 and number 4 are the most popular amongst the group of crocheters in our community, which I love. But crochet hooks they come in different sizes. The thicker the yarn, the larger the hook. You'll have to use. I don't have a large hook right next to me, but I'm trying to find. I'll show you different. So this one is a 4mm. This one is a 4.5mm. And this one, you see, was a 3. So they get a little, and I have bigger ones. I just don't have any right in front of me right now. So, all right. So we have a yarn and we have our hook. That's all you need to start. Because yes, we have fancy stuff like stitch markers and all that stuff. But honestly, when I started, I didn't even have a stitch marker. I just cut off a piece of yarn and I used that as a place marker and we'll discuss why you would need a stitch marker. Okay, let's talk about how to hold your hook. Sorry. All right. So before we get into that, I recently was reading this lady's post, and she was kind of upset because she was discussing like all teachers are saying you have to hold the hook this way, you have to hold the hook that way, and hook this and hook that, and there's no authority on who and how to hold your hook. And I agree with her, because when I was learning how to crochet, I was so obsessed on, oh, I need to learn to hold the hook the right way. Oh, is my thumb supposed to be right here? Is my thumb what's supposed to be? And I was so obsessed with that I was actually like losing the drive to do it, because I felt like I wasn't holding my hook right. Is there a right way? I mean, I'm sure people would say yes, but for me, the right way is to be comfortable. But let me explain some ways. We have what's called the pencil grip, like you're holding a pencil, right? And you'll notice that most hooks have like this little flash. So it's kind of like, and even this one has like that. It's shorter. It has a little rubber. Boop, boop, boop. I'm riding on my hook. Okay, sorry. Okay, the other way is the knife grip. So, like you would be holding a knife. Like you was cutting with a knife. And cutting with a knife. You see? Cutting with a knife. My way is to be comfortable. And the reason why I say to be comfortable is because I've been crocheting for years. But even as I crochet, watch, right? I'm not even going to, hopefully I don't intentionally. What I've noticed is that I hold my needle many different ways while I'm working on a pattern. It's like if I'm working on a pattern, I might start off holding it as a pencil. I might start off holding it as a knife. But as time go on, you'll see that I will legit change the way I hold it. So that lady was right. I wish I could give her a shout out. And I do agree. I know most people in the community don't agree because they teach knife grip or pencil grip. But I teach comfort grip. So get it done how you can get it done. I know you're probably like, girl, that don't help me. Yes, it does. Why would you want to be uncomfortable? If you're uncomfortable doing the project, you're not going to want to do the project. So you need to find a hook that fits you and grip. I'm all about love and intention, and I'm all about longevity. So if you are not comfortable doing this over time, you're not going to want to do it. So I say, prioritize comfort. With time, you'll learn what's the best way to hold your hook. You'll learn. And like I said, sometimes I hold it like this. It just depends on the mood I'm in, on the tension. But yeah, so that's that. You know, like I said, I guess if you're holding it like a pencil, let's see. I don't know which way I really hold it. That's how I hold it. And then sometimes I hold it like this. The point is, you could hold it however you want. You could get it done. You could even hold it like this, and you could get it done. As long as you can wrap that yarn around that, you can get it done. And that's our focus, is to focus on what can we do, and can we do it our best. Okay? And so, all right, back to basics. Count how many times I say it. Maybe I'll give you a prize. Maybe if you can tell me how many at the end, I'll give you a prize. All right, so let's talk about a slip knot, which is basically the foundation. Every crochet project is going to start with a slip knot of some kind. You just have to. So I'm going to try to focus in my hand, and hopefully we can do this together. First, I will just demonstrate, and then I'll come back and talk us through again. So, okay. So what we're doing, we're making a loop by wrapping it around your finger. You just basically, here's wrapping it around. There's a loop. Or even if you don't want to wrap, just cross this across. Just take this one end, this end, long end, short end. Take the long end and put it across. Sorry, you guys, it's harder for me on camera because I'm still getting used to it. But here we go. No excuses today. All right, so we're going to bring the long part around, right? We're going to put our hook into the hole, the circle, the loop. We're going to pull up a yarn and then, see? That's it. Let's do it again. Make a loop. Insert your hook. Pull up the yarn. Slip stitch. And it should slide up and down. Okay? Don't make your hook too tight, your circle too tight. Your hook has to be able to go through it. And you want your stitches to be able to go through it as well. So, let's demonstrate one more time. So, boom, circle, insert, pull. Give it a little tug. So the reason why I show you that is because you'll hear about later on as we get into our lessons, you'll hear about what's called a magic circle. A magic circle, people get so turned around about it. But one tip that I learned was this: a magic circle is just basically a slip stitch, not closed. So meaning if you want to make a magic circle, you put your hand around. So if you ever look at a pattern, new beginners, you'll see something called magic circle, or it'll be abbreviated as MR. So again, taking this, bringing it around, right? Almost like a cross. You want to make an X. So let's do that again. See, back here, I'm just putting this across my hand. 2 fingers. And then I'm wrapping it across like an X, right? What I'm going to do now is just insert the hook. Sorry, I have to get used to the camera. So, all right, let me do it without. All right, an X. There we go. You're going to put your hook in just like you would with there. And you're just going to pull up a hook. So, let's practice that loop, that slip knot. Slip knot. Boom. Chain, pull up. Magic circle. Okay? So let me do that again. So the only difference is when you're making your slip knot, if you're doing a magic circle, when you pull up your loop, just don't, and you want to have this tail. If you're doing a magic circle, your tail should be long. So you want to leave a longer tail. Wrap around two fingers or one. Make your hoop. Stick your hand in. Draw up a loop. Leave this loop. This is how you're going to start your magic circle. So one more time. Wrap around. Insert your hook. Pull up a loop. Okay? And that's your magic circle. All right? And then you can work from there. Okay. Like I said, just make sure it's not too tight, because you want your hook to be able to slide up and down, tension, tension, tension. All right. So now I just demonstrated the slip stitch, right? The slip knot. That's how we start our project. And I showed you how to do magic. I'm going to show you how to do a chain now. So a chain stitch is the foundations of most crochet projects. You're chaining, you're counting, you know. So to chain, I'm going to show you how to chain. Let's start with the slip stitch, right? So technically your slip stitch, your slip knot, is the very first of your chains. So again, making a little loop, putting our hand, or just a little X, you guys. Now I say loop, but that's just so you can get used to the language. But it's just a circle. You can make this circle as big as possible. You're just crossing it over. That's it. It's just an X. Okay? That's that. Now let's chain. So in order to chain, you're going to wrap your yarn over, right? And then you're going to, you now have to pull up a loop through the hook. So let's do it again. Wrap your yarn over, pull it through. Wrap your yarn over, pull it through. Wrap your yarn over, pull it through. 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 Okay? That's how you chain. Yarn over, pull it through. Yarn over, pull it through. There we go. Yarn over, pull it through. Okay? And now you have your chains. Okay? Now, I just frogged. That's another terminology. Crochet. Crochet. A, B, C. A, B, C. A, okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin like we're making a slip knot again. Which is just our first chain. First, okay? We're going to put our hook in. We're going to pull up a loop. Now we're doing it on a magic circle. See, I left so that I could give. But you want to put your hand here and you want to give it a little hold so that you can shorten it. Okay, now we're just going to chain again. Yarn over, chain. Yarn over, pull through. 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 Yarn over, pull. Okay, now we have all these lovely chains on a magic circle. We want to close the circle, which is the same way you would close your slip knot. Boom. And I actually do this, one tip, I actually do this when I'm not sure about how many chains I want. I'll leave it open so and then close it at the end. My slip knot at the end. It also makes it a little bit tighter. Your first chain. Anyway, let's frog this baby. So let's chain again, because chains create the length or the width, depending on which way you decide that you want to work. So again, let me demonstrate again. We're going to wrap around, insert our hook, drop a loop. So we're going to do 10 chain, wrap around, drop, wrap around, pull through, wrap around, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull three, up, lost count, but one, I'll show you how to count. We'll count back. We'll count from the first loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to do 2 more. We're just going to insert back our hook in. Then we'll yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And that gives us 10. I'm actually going to yarn over and pull through 1 more because I want, so this is the length. But if we were working across and we just wanted width, you could do it this way. See? Length or width. That's your chain. Okay? So we're going to turn. This is a starting row. Now we're going to chain. We're going to put a stitch in each of these. And let me just think for a second. So this is your chain, length or width. And then I guess I would say the most common mistakes that beginners make is that they pull their stitches too tight as they're yarning over and as they're chaining. As you yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through. What's happened is that your chain starts looking like V's and it starts getting twisted and it starts getting stiff. So try to just not be so, don't pull. Just be gentle. Yarn, see? I'm barely using any fingers. I'm just yarning over and then I'm just pulling through gently. Doesn't even require much muscles. I'm not using any and I'm strong. All right, so, all right. Right. Okay. All right. So I hope you are chaining with me. If not, let's do another. So the first one, that slip stitch, that's going to count as your first chain. So then we're going to go 2. So yarn over, pull 3, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 5, yarn over, pull through 6, yarn over, pull through 7, yarn over, pull through 8, yarn over, pull through 9, yarn over, pull through 10, yarn over, pull through 11, yarn over, pull through 12, yarn over, pull through 13, pull through 14, and I think you get the picture by now. And there you have it. So now we're chaining. We're going to keep this so that we can practice our next stitch, which is the single crochet stitch. And you will see, okay, so the chain, if you see that written on a pattern, it's usually written as CH. If you see a slip stitch, it's usually written as SLS. Brain-headed thing. Okay, so let's talk single crochet. So single crochet is one of the most basic stitches outside of chaining. It creates a really tight, firm fabric. Okay, so this is the stitch that if you haven't seen, I have a bag that I made, a red bag with symbols on there that you can check out. And on that bag, you'll see that the stitching is so tight that you can't get anything through. And for that bag, I even did double strand, which just made it like a very stiff, firm bag. So why would you want to use single crochet? You want to use single crochet, like say you were making a garment, like the neckline right here, and or even around here, you rather you want to go braless, and you want the stitching of the pattern to be really tight and closed, like you're doing a knit or real material. You will use something like that. Or if you're making an amigurumi, you would want to use single crochet stitches, because then you won't have a bunch of holes in your amigurumi of things poking out. Mr. Frog is here. Okay, so as you can see, Mr. Frog right here. I so he hello. Hello to you, Mr. Gregory Mason. So again, single crochet, that's the basic stitch, but that's the one that you want to learn to use. And that's the first stitch I learned to use. So we're going to go over that now. So it's very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook. Sorry, let me get us together. All right, so you're going to insert your hook into the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get, there's my hand. All right, here we go. So you're going to insert your hook into, there we have it. Finally, we have arrived. Okay, so we're going to insert our hook into the stitch. You're going to yarn over, which remember that when I say yarn over, that means you're going to wrap your yarn from the back to the front of your hook. You're going to pull up. Now you have 2 loops on the hook. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Yep, here we go. You have 2 loops on the hook. Now what you're going to do, you're going to yarn over again, and you're going to pull through both loops. That completes 1 single crochet. Okay. So again, we're going to do it again. So you're going to insert first. You want to insert your hook into the stitch. You want to yarn over, which means pulling your yarn from the back to the front of the hook, the loop. Pull up a loop. You now have 2. Yarn over again, meaning bring your yarn from the back to the front. So just laying it over. And then you're going to pull that yarn through both loops. That creates another single crochet. I also love a good single crochet on the edging of my garments or different things. It just really helps to give it a clean edge. So it's good for edging and bordering as well. So, all right, let's continue. It basically gives you a solid, dense look. So, that's basically what you're going with. And if your hook struggles, if you struggle to get this, if your hook is struggling to get into this, that means that you chain too tight. So remember when we talked about chaining in the beginning, how important it is to not be too tight, because it shouldn't be tension. You shouldn't be uneasy as you're crocheting along. You should be able to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up 2 loops, yarn over again, and pull through both. So again, we're making some single crochets. So inserting our hook, yarn over, meaning pulling from front to back, pull up 2 loops, yarn over, and we're going to pull through both loops. We're just going to continue. You can watch me or you can practice along. Insert, yarn over, pull up, pull through. All right, yarn over. Whoops, sorry. Insert, yarn over, pull up 2, and then pull through both loops. Again, insert, pull up, yarn over, pull through. insert, yarn over, pull up, pull through. We're just going to finish this first row and demonstrating so you can get the idea. Okay, and when you are doing this, you want to make sure that you're going through both loops. See, that was tight, so that's why that was so hard for me to get into that stitch. All right, so that's your single crochet. I'm using a 5mm. This is how it looks, and we're going to do a double crochet next. And double crochet, you know, before we get to double crochet, let's demonstrate a half double crochet, because I just want to show you how each stitch gets taller and taller. And even though a half double crochet is not as tight as a single crochet, but it raises your height a little bit. If you'll go back and look at some of my crochet with me videos, they're more clearer. You get a better demonstration of me just crocheting along. So, all right. So we learned how to chain earlier. So now we're going to practice chaining, because we need to chain 2 for our half double crochet demonstration. And that would be a HDC. If you're looking at a pattern, it'll say HDC, half double crochet. Another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at patterns is that some patterns is written in US and some is written in UK. So when you see a UK pattern, the pattern might say double crochet, but that actually translates to a half double crochet. So it's always like 1 stitch down. I don't know why, but maybe I'll do another video. We can learn together about that. Anyway, so let's chain. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through, yarn over, pull through the loop. We're going to turn our work around, meaning, so it was facing this way. We're going to turn it this way. Okay. And when we turn, we're now going to do a half double crochet. So let's go. We're going to wrap our hook around. We're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into the stitch. We're going to yarn over again and pull up. So we have 3 on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Let's try that again. So yarn over, insert your hook. You're going to pull up a loop. So you have 3, yarn over, pull through all 3. Again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 3, and then you're going to yarn over once again and pull through all 3. Okay, just watch. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 3. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, insert, pull up, pull through 3. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up 3, a loop. You now have 3, pull through all 3. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up, pull through all 3. Again, yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. Yarn over, insert into the last stitch, pull up 3, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And now we have our final stitch. So if you look at the bottom, you'll notice, let me see. You'll notice that this is like much smaller than this bigger stitch. And that's a half double crochet. So when you're looking for like a quicker workup. You don't want your stitches as tight as a small crochet. As a single crochet, you would just move up to another stitch. Gives you more height. It's a little thicker and give you more coverage. So it works up a little bit faster. But let's talk about our double crochet, which is taller and is more open than a single crochet. So it doesn't provide as much coverage. I mean, it can, because if you look at this demonstration, this is what I am working on over here. You can actually see that I'm going to walk us through, but it can still give you coverage depending on the size of hook if you match out. Okay, so let's practice our chains like we did, because this is why chaining is so important. Once you get the basic of that, you get a lot more. Anyway, here we go. So we're going to yarn over, pull through the yarn over, pull through. We're going to pull through, yarn over, and pull through. And that gives us 3 chains. And this one on the hook, you'll hear they'll say 1, 2, 3. That fourth, this chain on the hook doesn't count as a chain. It's just a stand-in. Just imagine it's a stand-in. So always think away from the hook. 1, 2, 3. That's how we count. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Going to turn our work again. And now we're going to add. We're going to practice double crochet. So here we go. Yarn over, just like we did with the half double. We're going to insert our hook. We're going to pull up a loop. So now we have 3, like we started a half double crochet, right? Only difference, here's the difference. You yarn over. Instead of pulling through 3, you're going to pull through 2, the first 2. You're going to yarn over again and pull through the last 2. Look, we just made our first double crochet stitch. Let's try that again. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop. You have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Our second double crochet. All right, yarn over, insert the hook. When you're yarning over to get it, you have 3, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So here we go. One more time. Yarn over first, insert hook into stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You now have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. That's our double crochet. And basically a double crochet, that's going to create a softer fabric. It'll allow for more draping. And it is also a very fast growing stitch because it's so tall, but it also allows for airy design. So if I wanted to make it a little bit more airy, I could, remember we talked about our chain 1. So as we're double crocheting, we could wrap around, pull through, that's a chain. Wrap around, pull through, that's a chain. So then that gives us 2 chains. We could say, hey, we want this fabric to breathe. Let's skip 2 and let's double crochet in the 3rd stitch. So that's what we would do. Yarn over, skip those 2. There we go. All right. And now we have a space. So that's how you make spaces. Bonus tip. All right. So let's finish up strong. First, we yarn over. We insert our hook into the stitch. We yarn over to pull up a loop. Now we have 3 on the hook. We're going to pull through the first 2 loops and then pull through the last 2 loops. We're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over to make a loop, pull through the first 2 and the last 2. Okay, so these are our double crochets. So down here we have our single crochet, we have our half double crochet, and now we have our double crochet, which is usually written as DC on a pattern if you're looking at a pattern, just for reference. And so if a single crochet is tight and structured and a half double crochet is a little more dense, a double crochet is flowy and flexible. It's going to flex a lot more than any of the other stitches would give you flex. So I'm just gonna talk about our sample. So look, we talked about our chain, which is the foundation. We talked about single crochet. Well, let me chain up for you. One, wrap around, pull through. Let's get some chains. Hope you practice. All right, so we have some chains, which is, this was what we started with. We chained down here. And we talked about length. So obviously this is the length of how many I chained. But if I wanted to turn it, it's just that easy to turn. Let me get back on camera. It's just that easy to turn. Okay, so your chain determine your width. And this is if you're working up or down. We also sometimes for crochet, we work in circles, which is why I spoke about the magic circles. So what would you want to do a circle for? You might start off with, can't reach it. But the point is, these are circles. The bottom is circles. See? These are circles. So, you want to make some fun stuff? You need to learn how to make shapes. So, and that's what that's basically what crochet is. Like I said, so we have the foundation chain. You don't want to do these too tight. That's my reminder for you guys. We have our single crochet, which is down here under the first row of the foundation chain. And that's a little more tight and sturdy stitch, which doesn't hurt to start there. And you can then add on. Like I like to add I call my single crochet a stabilizer row. So anytime I want to make like a border or something in between, I use it as a decorative stitch as well. Every advanced design is going to start with mastering these 3 stitches, or 4, because as a bonus I added in the half double crochet for you. So at the end of the day, I really hope that this live helped you. Save the live so you can watch this back. And next time we can learn about we can focus more on the proper way to like turn our rows. I know I showed you how to turn rows in here. And I also showed you half double crochet, but we can go over a little bit more, or we can start a beginner friendly project together. So I would love for you to comment below and let me know what you'd like to learn more, what you would like to learn. Also, just want to remind you that crochet is about patience and joy. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start, And I would love for you to drop a comment. Are you a beginner? Have you been learning for years? And know that this is very much for therapy, and it brings me joy, and I hope it brings you joy. And I will see you in a few Sundays from now with our Crochet with Me. Again, thank you for joining me. Love, Simone. I am very grateful for each and one of your likes, your subscription, your comments, and your follows, your purchases, your suggestion on new things for me to make. I appreciate all the love that I receive, and I hope to continue doing these lives. And also, what's coming up for Love, Simone, we will be at our next event, March 21st, our spring fair at Cobb Middle School. So check us out there as well. And we have some new products that we are showing. So some sample shorts. as well, but just stay tuned and continue to follow the joy. Thank you. See you later.